Hello there, my friends. Happy New Year! I hope you all had happy holidays. And now that the new year is beginning, I would like to thank you because you helped me reach 500 subscribers on my channel, which isn't the highest number of subscribers at all, but I'm still really thankful. Anyway, with that out of the way, I've been wanting to make a diorama with a tank shooting for a while, and I thought, what better tank to use for that than one with a big gun. This is the Zvezda 1 to 72nd scale T-90MS, and today we are gonna build it together and make a really cool diorama of it shooting with LEDs and smoke and everything like that. So let's get right into it. The assembly starts like any other. I start by snipping the parts out of the sprue using sharp side cutters, and then I clean them using a hobby knife. Now this is an ordinary model like any other, it doesn't have any photo edge or anything, but the detail is amazing, and even the fitting is really nice, so I won't bore you with the assembly. It was quite straightforward. There were some annoying parts, for example the wheels. This tank has a lot of wheels, but then again there isn't as many of them as on a German tank, and I'm gonna enjoy a lot of those in future videos, so I can't complain. I glue the parts using ordinary Tamiya cement for plastic. Now I've decided to make a sub-assembly of tracks and wheels because I wanted it to be easier for painting and weathering. This was decently easy on this model because you get some one-piece plastic tracks supplied, and once that was done I just finished up the turret and assembled the rest of the model. There is a lot of finicky small plastic parts, like for example every single smoke launcher that can make this a little bit more annoying than it needs to be, but overall it's a really nice model, and I'm just I was really enjoying it. Anyway, now that the model is done, we can start painting it. I take apart all of the sub-assemblies that I created, as you can see all of them here, and it's time to prime the model. I first primed the model using ordinary black color from Vallejo. Don't worry, I bought a normal primer and you will see it in next videos, but on this model I still used only an ordinary color. This color is just to unify the surface in one color, which doesn't really make sense on this model as it doesn't have differently colored surfaces, but it still helps a little bit. Now I started spraying the model with the base color. I chose lightened up buff because I'm going with a three-tone camouflage. These are ordinary Vallejo acrylics. They are diluted with acrylic thinner from VMS. I don't really know any ratios because I usually just thin them how it suits me the best, so I can't really help with that. Then I started masking the model with some ordinary painter's masks just to create the three colors of the camouflage. Here is where I started having a little bit of problems. I accidentally clogged up the airbrush and I didn't manage to properly clean it up until the end of the project, which meant that spraying, for example, this green got really annoying after a while, and also post shading it was a mistake because it would just splatter all over the place and it would destroy the model. Thankfully I just went over it with another layer of green, and it helped to tone down the very badly sprayed post shading. I'm really not sure what happened, but uh, I decided to paint the black color on the camouflage with a brush, as I used to on all of my models. But no worries, since then I have fixed the airbrush and now it works just fine. I then proceeded to paint all of the tiny details. For example, I painted the tires and the tracks with German grey. Then it was time to start painting some markings on the model. I used acrylic colors for this as well. I then used a lighter color just to pick out some of the details on top of the parts to give it some three-dimensional effect. Then I started applying the wash. I tried using the ammo acrylic wash that I haven't used in ages because it was really dirty since I watched their video on how to use it. So basically what I did was I applied it everywhere, or well, around the details, and once it was dry to the touch, I removed it using a cotton swab dipped in water, because this is what they recommend in their videos. I mean, it worked better than what I did with it in previously, but I still don't really enjoy this wash because of how dirty it gets everything. Thankfully, since then I bought their enamel washes. Then I just started weathering the vehicle. I used some vehicle acrylic mud for the texture. I applied it everywhere I would expect the mud to collect on the vehicle. And then I sprayed on some deck 10 for some pre-dusting and dusty effect on the model. Using a way darker brown color, I started applying it around the details and on the most muddy areas to create a wet mud or fresh mud effect. And using the same color, I also made some rain marks on sides of the skirts, because these skirts are perfect for some streaking effect. And then the last effect was some splashes of mud. Anyway, with the model done, I started working on the diorama. Now, first thing I did was draw out a little sketch of the diorama, where I would like the tank to be, the smoke, the ground, grass, everything. I made the idea in my head, and then I cut out a small piece of polystyrene to the shape. It's just a square, so nothing really fancy or anything. And then it was time to start you know, basically cutting the ground into the styrene, cutting the little crease, the road and everything like that. Once this was done, I also made sure I made some space for the electronics to hide in. While I have it displayed in my house, it's okay to have the switch next to the model, but then again, on a show it'll be better to be hidden. And then I started building up the groundwork using ordinary air drying clay and using PVA glue to glue it to the ground. Then using ammo acrylic mud, I created some additional texture. While it was still wet, I also added some rocks, bigger and smaller ones, to create even more additional texture for the ground. Then, after that was done, I used various lengths of static grass and also cut up old paintbrush to create grass on the ground. I just pitched it with my tweezers and applied it one by one in tufts. And also I found a pack of old dried up moss in a local dollar store. It's a huge pack and it'll last for like fucking forever. So I used it to create some old bushes and stuff, and as you can see they look really convincing. I absolutely love this. And it was just like €3 or something, and it's like enormous, so yeah, it's a great thing if you can find it. And then I decided to paint the diorama for, you know, for the first time ever. I'm painting it. I primed it with black, and then I started spraying the grass with a very light green. This is olive green from Vallejo. This is just to create a few of those light tufts of grass that you can find in winter. Then I went over it with deck tan to make it a little more dried up, since this is a winter scene. This was more or less just a testing canvas, because I've never painted groundwork like this before. And, you know, it's better to do it on a groundwork that will be covered in snow than on a groundwork that will be very visible. So therefore, I decided to try it here. It doesn't look the best, but it could have been worse, I think. Of course, I used the deck tan to pick out all of the little details on the road. Everything was done according to references I found online. I then sprayed all of the groundwork with brown as well, blending everything together. Or well, I didn't spray the grass with brown, but like around it to blend it to the ground, you know? This is how it looked at this stage, but I decided to add some light washes. So what I used was some diluted deck tan and diluted buff to pick out all of the crevices between the rocks and stuff. I did this even on the grass, just to, you know, put the color in between the strains of it to create some sort of depth. And then I decided to use Viejo acrylic snow to create some snow around the base. Of course, I also painted the logs and the bushes with some browns and buffs. After the snow was done, the main part of the diorama was in line, so yeah, I bought these little cheap LED lights in the same dollar store. I decided they would be perfect for an explosion, so you know, this is a little like a wire with lights on it, which means I can bend it into a sort of a circle that I can then glue all of the all of the cotton onto and create the explosion effect. And that's basically what I did. I took the wire through the base and I started bending it into the circular shape that would be coming out of the barrel. This would allow me to keep the model removable, which is one of the things I really like doing. I know some modelers just glue their models to the base. I don't really like that, so I decided to do it this way instead. It would be quite hard to drill through the barrel anyway because of the tiny scale, so this was more beneficial. Once all of this was done, I decided to glue on the cotton. This is, I don't know, what is it called? Like polyester fiber or something like that. It's the thing you find inside of plushies, the plushie stuffing. I think it looks a little more realistic than cotton, but it's way more harder to work with. So I just wrapped it around the wire, which was way easier than if I had just one single LED and tried to build it up on that. Once this was done, I also painted it with yellow towards the middle and then red on the outside and then black on the outer outside. I'm sure you understand what I mean. This kind of solidified the cotton as well because the paint dried on it, which was, you know, pretty good. And, you know, with the black, the diorama was basically finished. So yeah, before showing you the finished product, I would like to thank you again for watching today's video. I would like to thank all of my subscribers for helping me reach 500 subscribers. I would like to thank everyone that helped me reach it before the end of the year. That was really amazing. I really appreciate that. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing, liking it, perhaps sharing it with your friends. If you have anything you would like to tell me, some ideas for next dioramas or what I should improve, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to support me financially so I can make more models and more projects like this, my Patreon and my Ko-fi is also in the description. On my Patreon you get bonuses like 3D files and pictures of these projects. I think the main thing people would like to see are the 3D files. You can get tanks there and whatnot, so if you'd like to go there, it's in the description. Anyway, again, I'm really happy that you made it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one with probably my best model yet, so see you then.